Hello and welcome to my thoughts on Rise of Cadance. Hell yeah, it's been a long time coming, like 8 months, but we're finally doing it. This story was written by Christina Rice, who is a veteran pony comic writer. She's written things like Fiendship is Magic T-Rex, Friendship is Magic number 60 and 84, and Friends Forever 33. Actually, a lot of the more recent Friends Forever comics I've done were written by Christina Rice. That being said, I would say their stories are generally pretty mid, not bad, but just like, a solid B on average. But oh, this goddamn story, Rise of Cadance, is the reason I recognize her name. I think this comic is good. I like it a lot. Not to shit on, Friends Forever 27 hanging out with Granny Smith and Pinkie Pie, but this is in a completely different league. I guess while we're talking about credits, this comic was illustrated by Abby Bulmer, who's done a few G5 comics such as My Little Pony number 5, number 11, and number 13, and then completely throws their art style to the side to do Maritime Mysteries, mimicking a Tell Your Tale style, and once again, throwing their style to the side to illustrate this one in a very Friendship is Magic style. There are a couple other artists that change up their style when drawing G4 versus G5, such as, off the top of my dome, Kate Sharon and Agnes Garboska, but this is the only time I've seen a style change within the same generation. And I guess to finish off the credits, this was colored by the GOAT herself, Heather Brickell, who is goated in all things color, except for unicorn magic. I recolored a lot of unicorn magic in this comic. Alright, enough preamble, let's get into this. So, our story starts off at the Crystal Empire. Cadance is up nice and early to watch the sunrise. I love when the comics get first-person narration. It is my absolute favorite thing. Whether it's Tempest Shadow writing in her journal in Friendship is Magic 67 or the movie prequel, or Stygian in Legends of Magic. It just allows for such an intimate view of Cadance and her doubts that just really helps the story shine. So we start off with Cadance talking about how she has to remind herself that she earned the title of princess. And this is elaborated on deeper in Friends Forever number 30, also written by Rice. The TLDR being, her subjects don't respect her, she's just a figurehead to be puppeted by Celestia, and ponies only really like her because she does her hair and makeup all pretty and has a baby. So yeah, those are the vibes she is waking up with on this morning. But thankfully, by the end, Twilight's able to convince her that every pony actually loves her because she's so kind and thoughtful and accepting, and makes them feel full of love. And that is exactly where we're going with this story, baby. It's flashback time. So Cadance is a little baby, wah, 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 wah. She cries so loud that she's found by Alloro Legata. Alloro is Italian for Laurel, which is her cutie mark, and Legata is not a word. It's almost the Italian word leggera, which means light, which is one of the two things that Cadance is filled with, but that is spelt with 2 G's and an E. While this could be a genuine mistake, I think it's a cute nod to the fact that Cadance's name is spelt wrong. So this opening story is actually from the novel The Crystal Heart Spell, which I haven't read. I should read it, but I do know this chunk of it. Cadance is just chillin', living her life in an Earth Pony village, when suddenly, an evil pony enchantress named Prismia attacked the village, dun dun dun! And she started slurping up all the love in the village, trying to fill up her own empty heart. When suddenly, Cadance, bam! She's got too much love and she overpowers the system. Like Goku and Vegeta versus Mecha Cooler in the Big Yeti Star. So in the novel, the amulet is described as wielding a powerful charm. As long as the pony wearing it is filled with the magic of love, the necklace will wrap the wearer in warmth and protection. But if the pony does not, it will only magnify their negative thoughts and doubts. That's basically where the story in the novel ends. Cadance just kicks Prismia's ass and fills her with love the end. But we do get that nice description of how her amulet works. But in this reimagining, Princess Celestia shows up ready to throw down, but to her surprise, Prismia is already down and out. And right away, we see a very big contrast between Celestia and Cadance. Prismia's literally crying, and Celestia just comes up, "I'm gonna fuck you up, bitch!" And then compliments Cadance's bravery and strength, while internally, Cadance is just like, gee, I don't know. I didn't really do anything. I just kind of felt sorry for her, and then she died. Celestia clearly does not have the heart to help her feel. Unlike Cadance, who is just able to, like, interpret Prismia's entire life story just by vibes. I can't believe little 11-year-old Cadance can stand up to Celestia on Prismia's behalf. But Twilight doesn't have the balls to stand up to her or Star Swirl. Despite Starlight making her stand up to Star Swirl and realizing it was the right thing to do all along, but then at the end, she just lets Celestia petrify Cozy, who's fucking 12!
I'm just a kid, so...
Anyway, Cadance doubts whether she was ever meant to be a princess, and this moment right here proves that she is. This sudden swell of confidence to do what she feels is right in her heart. It doesn't matter whether she's protecting her mother from Prismia or Prismia from Celestia. She is kind and compassionate and filled with the overwhelming desire to protect that which she loves. Which is basically every pony, as her magic doesn't really let her feel anything but love for another. Not to quote Twilight from Friends Forever number 30, but that's basically her speech to Cadance. But yeah, Cadance gets her cutie mark, Prismia gives her the necklace, and Celestia isekais her away to Canterlot. It's hard to say whether or not the amulet still works. Prismia does say, I don't think this amulet will be much use to any pony now, implying it may be broken, but in the novel, it definitely still works. Not really that important, though. Anyway, Cadance is off to magic school. A little premature, Celestia, but, you know, it's nice to get her slightly somewhat prepared for alicornship. I don't know. Like, if I wanted to learn how to play tennis, I don't think reading about tennis would really help me get started. But, you know, Cadance can't play tennis right now, so she's gotta do what she's gotta do. That's gotta suck. She was literally just getting over being the only Pegasus in her Earth Pony village, and now she's alone in a unicorn city. But hey, at least there are some Pegasi among the Royal Guard who can teach her how to fly! It's a miracle! Finally, something to boost her confidence in herself. But wait, there's something else to also boost her confidence? Hanging out with babies! Celestia let her babysit some kids for free, yo! Like, I don't think she actually has a purpose for hanging out with them. She says, Celestia let me spend time with them. So this is just something Cadance wanted to do. So, you know, good for her. But, blah, blah, blah. Celestia is grooming Cadance. Shining Armor sets his eyes on that booty. And then, bam! Dragon attack! And once again, no hesitation, Cadance throws herself right into battle. But perhaps her confidence has grown a little too much as she is, very easily outmatched and, kinda just tries to ignore Celestia's orders. But thankfully, Celestia talks some sense into her and sends her off to protect the children. But apparently, as it turns out, the children were the targets of the dragons. Oops. This raid is led by the dragon Liebe, which is German for love. What a coincidence. And yeah, she wants to kill these unicorn foals because apparently Canterlot killed a bunch of dragon brood in their last raid. Oops. I wonder if this has any correlation to how Celestia procured Spike's egg. I love the conversation Cadance and Liebe have. Cadance is all like,
if one comes to call vengeance justice, then such justice will only breed further vengeance and trigger a vicious cycle of hatred.
Yes, I know, Cadance. I have also watched Naruto. But Liebe's speedrunning that Sasuke route. She's filling her heart with hatred. She is an Avenger. But as we all know, in order to overcome hatred, you have to fill your heart with enough love. So that's exactly what Cadance does. She taps her on the snoot and, I guess just shoots her love all up inside of her. That's how I interpret the scene, at least. I think Cadance is physically ripping the hatred out of Liebe, taking it out herself, and replacing it with her own love. You know, like she's some kind of love bender. And then once again, Liebe's crying down from the couch, and Celestia busted, I'm gonna fuck you up, bitch! Little late there, Celestia also learned to read the room. And then Celestia realizes it's finally time for Cadance to fulfill her destiny. Then Cadance becomes an alicorn, the end. I guess we can talk about Twilight a little. So in this story, Celestia introduces Cadance to Twilight, which I suppose is a fair interpretation. I've just always kind of assumed Cadance meets and babysits Twilight because she's sleeping with her brother, Occam's razor and all. But I mean, there's nothing wrong with this scenario, as it's fair to assume that while Shining Armor is finishing up guard training, Twilight's just kind of hanging around in the library after like magic kindergarten or whatever, waiting to go home with him. Do we think Magic Kindergarten is part of Celestia's school, or do we think that's like some kind of soft prereq to increase a unicorn's chances of being selected to attend Celestia's school? Also, like, it's kind of odd that Twilight would try to apply to Celestia's magic school without her cutie mark, right? Because in theory, you would think a unicorn gets their cutie mark in magic and therefore applies to attend Celestia's school, as Sunburst does, but Twilight just kind of wings it. I guess she knows what she wants. Anyway, the point I was trying to make. Twilight may not catch Celestia's eye until she sees Twilight's cutie mark, but that doesn't mean she's not keeping an eye on Shining Armor, as Shining Armor also has the element of magic on his flank. So it's fair to say that Celestia may have sent Cadance to watch over Twilight, so that Shining Armor can focus on his training and not have to worry about his little sister being alone. Also, it's like pretty cute to think about. Shining Armor's cutie mark is in protection, his specialty being defensive magic. It's just a perfect match for Cadance's desire to protect those she loves. She's got the heart to jump into battle, and he has the power to back her up. But yeah, I think I basically said everything. This story is genuinely great. This is in contention for top 5, top 3 comics that I've read so far. I genuinely loved it, and this story alone is the sole reason for any kind of admiration for Cadance I have. I literally felt nothing for Cadance before, and then I read this, and it's like, I'm a Cadance guy now, I guess. Rip. God, you know what's the saddest Cadance moment in the comics? Season 10 finale. Spoilers for Friendship is Magic 102. After breaching Canterlot, Danu and his knights are out for Discord's blood. But you know who's the first pony to jump in to stop them? Princess Mia More frickin' Cadenza. That's your girl, right? You've been glazing her for 10 minutes straight for just that reason. What's sad about that? Well, because after about 5 seconds, Danu decides to open up a crater beneath Cadance, and she falls to her doom. Doesn't even try to flap her wings once. So much for the natural-born Pegasus. And that is Cadance's involvement in Season 10. Alright, anyway, art changes. Get ready, because there is a list. So the tip of Cadance's wings are quite purple, as an adult. But they weren't really all that purple in the opening pages, so I just made them purplier. In this panel, I added a little glowy effect to Prismia's eyes, just cause it's cool. Hello, how do you make the eyes pure white and not make them glowy? Come on! In this panel, Aloro's speech bubble is missing its tail. In this panel, Prismia is missing her horn. Oops. So in these 3 panels here, here, and here, Prismia is missing her shoes. Oops, so I threw them on. So this was hard to replicate, but Prismia's speech bubbles are purple, except for these 2 times when they're accidentally just white. So I tried my best to correct it. And just because I hate basic bitch blue unicorn magic, I recolored Prismia's magic to a nice dark purple. And in that same spirit, when we get to the unicorn school, every pony's magic is blue. Also, their horns aren't glowing. Why? So I recolored every pony's magic on this page, and those who are missing glowing horns, I threw that on. Alright, next up, Cadance's cutie mark. You would think after the big old scene where Cadance gets her cutie mark, it wouldn't be so easily forgotten, right? But the very instant Cadance gets to Canterlot and we see her flank, it is indeed blank. Her flank is also blank here, here, and here. Well, it's also technically blank here, but I missed this one myself. Oops. So bam, I slapped her cutie mark on all of those except for that last one because I didn't see it until right now. In this scene here of Cadance dancing with the children, she doesn't have her wings. Oops, threw those on. Also, in this shot of Cadance's wings, they're real funky looking. So I just kind of redid some line work to make them look like they're connected somewhat. And lastly, and somewhat leastly, there's this little foal. We see him 4 times. Twice with eyelashes, twice without eyelashes. I just erased the eyelashes just to consistently make him a colt. Art changes done. Cadance has had a rough life. Abandoned by her parents. stolen away from the only mom she's ever known. Man, I can't believe Celestia's trying to glaze up Cadance's parents. Oh, they probably knew the hardships you would face and abandoned you to hide you from your destiny. If a human just abandoned a baby on a sidewalk outside of a city, would that be a good thing? I don't think so, but maybe I'm cooked. I can understand trying to hide her, but why abandon her? Why couldn't they just move to the tiny little Earth Pony village? How long had Cadance been alone out there? What would have happened if it started storming, per se? How many hours would it have taken for some pony to find her then? 8? 10? Did her parents get access to the Cloudsdale weather logs? Nah, there's no storm scheduled for today. She's fine. Could they really have not walked the extra mile to make sure some pony found Cadance within, I don't know, a few minutes? Celestia is literally making shit up. Cadance's parents did not give a fuck about her. Like we've already established after Celestia's interactions with Prismia and Liba. She has literally no clue what a pony's thinking or feeling. TLDR, I don't trust Celestia's judgment. I think that is everything I need to say. So, those have been my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and until next time.